Hi guys! Today we're making this miniature Japanese-inspired tea house with a tea room with mats and working sliding doors. This project is based solely on pictures I found online, so forgive me if it isn't completely accurate. I made this house in 1/24 scale, which is about half the size I usually work in, but you can make it to fit in it all you have. The first thing I did was to figure out how big I wanted the tea room, which is the square in the middle, and then how big I wanted the entire platform to be. For the base of the platform, you're gonna need some white popsicle sticks, a pair of scissors, and a file. Cut away the rounded edges and smooth them out with a file. Then use tacky glue or wood glue to stick together the popsicle sticks until you cover the platform. Once the base is all dry, flip it over and glue popsicle sticks in the opposite direction on the back for stability. Then use a ruler to sketch out the tea room in the middle of the platform. After researching a little, I found that a tea room would often be 4.5 tatami mats, so I found a basic measurements of the mats and scaled them down. To separate each mat, I used this string and some glue. Just add glue to the lines and stick on the string. I chose to do it this way because I needed a very defined outer edge of the room to make the slide doors work later, but you'll see. For the actual mat, I used this soft embroidery thread and a thick fabric glue. Glue the thread onto the base in one direction for each mat. I chose to do my mats this way because I needed them to stay put in the same spot, and also because if I had actually weaved them together, they would have been too thick for this scale. In my main reference picture, there seemed to be a void in the middle of the room, so I simulated that by painting it black with acrylic paint, but you can cut it out if you want to. To make some pillars for the platform to stand on, I used these baseboards that were 5 x 5 mm and used a decoration saw to cut them out. Then glue them to the bottom of the base. Then I made the walls for the back room the same way I did the base by gluing some popsicle sticks together. I made a void in the front wall to be the door and framed it with these thin stirring sticks. Cut 2 more pieces of the baseboard we used before to be 2 of the pillars for the tea room. Make them a tiny bit taller than the back room pieces and glue them to the front wall. Then glue together the back room pieces before gluing them to the base. And this is what we have so far. Now we're gonna make the sliding doors. Cut out pieces of stirring sticks to create the frame for each door. Remember, you need to make 6 doors. I glue small pieces of stirring stick to the bottom of the door to make it look a little more decorative. For the top part, I used these thin wooden dowels and glued them together, creating a squared pattern. Using paper in this scale just didn't look right, so I'm using this white linen fabric instead and gluing it to the back of the doors. Now it gets a little tricky. Take one door or wall and glue it to each of the pillars of the tea room that is already on the base with the back wall, but you need to make sure that there is a gap between the wall you're gluing and the base of the mat so the other door can actually slide in behind it. The door that's going to be in front of the tea room you're going to glue to another pillar. Then glue that to the front corner and gluing the last pillar in place in the other corner, standing alone for now. Next, I use another type of baseboard. This one is still 5 mm wide, but it's flat instead, and it's going to go on top of the pillars, connecting them. Measure out and cut the corners at an angle so they'll fit together nicely. Cut 3 of these so you have one over each door section. Now take each of these 3 pieces and glue a stirring stick to each side so it creates kind of a trench underneath. This will allow the doors to slide from side to side, but not tipping out or falling over. Then glue the pieces on top of the pillars, with the sliding door loosely standing inside, and that is the basic of the mechanic of the sliding doors. And that's the tea room done. Glue a stirring stick around the base of the room to make it look a little more neat. Onto the roof, glue together 4 pieces of baseboard that end up having the same size as the big platform. Then cut 4 more pillars in the same size as those we used for the tea room. Glue a pillar to each corner of the platform and glue the square on top. Now for the actual roof. I use my stencil for the platform as a size guide and cut up popsicle sticks to cover each corner. I cut each corner in a downward curve, but be careful not to cut yourself when you do this. Then glue the 4 corner pieces together with some support pieces in between. Cut more edge pieces with the same curve and glue them in place. Connect the outer edges with stirring sticks. For the actual roof, I'm using this fake leather fabric, cutting out fitting pieces and gluing it in place. For the very top, glue together 2 popsicle sticks and cut them at an angle like this, and then glue some more of the baseboard to the side. Glue the 2 end pieces in place and connect them with baseboard. Then cover that with the fabric as well. My fabric was a little too shiny, so I glazed it with a matte glaze to take away some of that. Once the roof is dry, you simply place it on top of the tea house. As a final touch, I decided to stain my tea house a tiny bit, so I used some watered down acrylic paint, but it's totally optional. And there you go, that's a finished miniature tea house. This was a pretty time-consuming project, but it was fun and it ends up looking really cool along with the koi pond we made a little while ago. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more. Bye!